This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Flames erupt at a Far East Side apartment complex. Breaking now at 5 o'clock, we are live on the scene with how many people authorities say were taken to the hospital.
Plus, a night out for a birthday celebration in Broad Ripple ends in this big mess. This morning, the message the hit-and-run victim has for the driver who caused this.
And a mother says her kids were lunch shamed after they ran out of money in their accounts. What she says happened and why she thinks the school should change its lunch policy. 5 o'clock on your Tuesday morning. Thanks for starting the day with us. I'm Meredith Barrett.
And I'm Lauren Casey, and we want to talk about the fall weather out there that you'll feel this morning. Alyssa Donovan is here to break down what it feels like right now.
Ooh, and you're going to notice it as you step outside. Big change from yesterday and most of last week when we were well above average at this time. Yesterday we started in the 50s, and I want to show you our Midwest map because you can really see that cool air coming down from Canada. It's 47 degrees in Chicago and Peoria, 48 right now in Detroit. Here in Indianapolis, those temperatures starting to drop off still. 49 degrees right now in Indy, 43 in Lafayette, 38 in Crawfordsville. So we're continuing to see those temperatures drop off, and that's because we had that cool, dry air move in overnight. High pressure is in control. That allowed for that cooling overnight. It's also going to allow for some very quick daytime heating today. So temperatures will climb quickly throughout the day. We will climb into the low 70s. That's where we should be this time of year, with plenty of sunshine throughout the day. So if you can get through this cool morning, we are going to see the benefits by the afternoon with plenty of sunshine for your Tuesday.
Alyssa, thanks. We are keeping you updated on the roads, and here's a look at our traffic now map. We are monitoring just a little bit of road work here, so you're traveling northbound on I-65 towards the northwest side. As you head north of 38th Street, watch for crews working in 2 lanes at this hour. Overall, everything there is still traveling up to speed. Let's take a look a little south of this spot. This is I-65 at 30th Street from our NDOT traffic camera in that area, and you see the barrels on some of the travel lanes there, but it's not impacting traffic this morning. Everything is moving along just fine. We'll continue to keep an eye on things and keep you updated this morning. But right now, we do want to get to some breaking news. This is something we've been following all morning long. 3 people now in the hospital this morning after flames broke out at an apartment complex east of Indianapolis.
A woman and 2 police officers were injured in that fire. Good Morning Indiana's Kelsey Anderson is live on the scene for us with those breaking details. Kelsey, what have you learned since you arrived?
So what we have right now is they've moved us off scene. So we're outside of Cumberland Manor Apartments, just off 10th Street on the east side of Indianapolis, like you said. And so what we know is that this fire started in the kitchen. So we're going to take some video from earlier at the scene since we are so far away now. So again, what we know, a woman and 2 police officers were transported to the hospital. And according to officials on the scene, an IMPD officer kicked the door of the apartment in and carried a 7-year-old to safety. That IMPD officer is one of those officers that was sent to the hospital. Everyone inside the apartment did make it out. 9 people are displaced right now. We are still working to find out what started this fire, but fire officials here on scene say given the time of the fire and the type of fire, this could have been a lot worse. For now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Kelsey, thank you so much. RTV6 is working for you with a call to action. This morning, a woman hopes you will help her track down a hit-and-run driver that left her brand new car totaled. Chelsea Haraway was out for drinks with her friends for her birthday last Wednesday. She decided to get an Uber home and leave her car parked along Broad Ripple Avenue. The next morning, she found her car up on the sidewalk and the driver's side with extensive damage.
It just hurts knowing that I tried to do the right thing and Uber home, yet someone else didn't. That could have been a person that you hit. There's already enough going on in Broad Ripple and already enough bad things happening everywhere. We don't need any more situations like this.
Chelsea was able to track down surveillance video showing the crash happen. If you know anything about the driver involved in this hit and run or see a vehicle with damage to the right side, contact Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS.
Here at 504, a Central Indiana school district tells RTV6 it's reviewing its policies and procedures after accusations of lunch shaming. Shayna Lawson tells RTV6 that her 2nd and 5th grade daughters came home crying from Harney Elementary School in Lebanon last week. Lawson says the girls were denied breakfast Thursday morning because she did not reload the accounts on time. She says her daughters were so embarrassed they did not want to go back to school.
They were crying, "Mom, please just homeschool me, Mom." And I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I could. Just pull them aside and tell them, hey, you know, you need to bring money in instead of saying it in front of all the kids. You know, that's wrong.
Lebanon Community Schools says that students cannot buy anything when there's no money in their accounts, but an alternate menu option is available for them. The district also says it notifies parents twice weekly about low account balances. When a balance goes negative, they send a letter home explaining the process to apply for the free or reduced price meals. Officials say they welcome assisting families with any questions regarding food services and payments.
Neighbors in Brownsburg say they're tired of deadly crashes and an intersection they call dangerous. Last week, 16-year-old Josie Cranfield was killed in a crash at State Road 267 and County Road 1000 North. INDOT says they plan to install a traffic light at the intersection, but until the stoplight goes up, neighbors are doing what they can to warn drivers, and you can't miss it. The massive sign has a simple message: slow down, stop ahead. INDOT says the work to install the new stoplight could take more than a year.
Here at 5:06, one person remains in the hospital this morning, and another person is dead after a shooting at an apartment complex on the south side. Police found the victims near Southport Crossing Apartments around 4:30 Monday afternoon. Call 6 investigates. Sources say drugs may be the center of the violence. The names of those victims have not been released. Metro Police say they'll eventually give an update after finding a person of interest connected to a homicide in Broad Ripple. Just before 5 o'clock Monday afternoon, detectives announced that they located the woman in these pictures just 4 hours after asking for the public's help to find her. 36-year-old Alfred Hayes Jr. was shot and killed near Connor's Pub last Thursday.
You can cast your ballot starting today ahead of the municipal election on November 5th. That's because early voting gets underway in the Hoosier State. Council races and some school referendums will be on ballots in parts of Indiana. One of the biggest races locally is for mayor of Indianapolis. Incumbent Mayor Joe Hogsett faces Republican challenger Jim Merritt. You can cast your ballot at the Marion County Clerk's office or 4 satellite voting locations.
At 5:07, it is harvest season in Indiana, and that can present a danger for everyone on the roads. It's this time of year the farmers are taking large farm equipment and driving them on all different types of roads. It's easy to get confused about the rules of the road when you're coming up on a slow-moving vehicle. Working for you, we asked area law enforcement about what you should do in order to safely share the roads.
And it's not just about safety for the farmer, it's about safety for everyone. Everybody has a right to use the road, whatever equipment you're using on it, but you have to do that together, and the better you work together on that, the safer everybody becomes.
So what's the bottom line here? You need to slow down if you see farm equipment. Don't pass until it's legal and clear to do so. If you follow the rules, you could be not only saving your life, but someone else's as well. A company with plants across Indiana says it's freezing benefits for thousands of workers. The reason behind the cuts, straight ahead here on Good Morning Indiana.
And will your ID fly? We're working for you this morning with what you need to know before you take your next vacation.
And here's a live look down in Greenwood. Good morning to you here, I-65 at Main Street. You can see traffic is pretty quiet in Johnson County here this morning. We'll continue to keep a close eye on your roads and keep you updated. Stick around. You're watching Good Morning Indiana.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
Welcome back. The time right now is 5:11 here on your Tuesday. And here's a live look at I-465 and West 21st Street over on the west side of town. Traffic here is moving along just fine this morning. We'll continue to keep a close eye on those roads and keep you updated as you head out the door.
We're passing along a health warning if you've eaten in Linton, Indiana lately. The Greene County Health Department says an employee at the Papa John's was infected with hepatitis A. Only customers who ordered from Papa John's in Linton after 3 p.m. on September 30th are at risk. Papa John's has set up a phone line to answer questions about the disease. Indiana is one of several states experiencing a Hep A outbreak. Health officials encourage everyone to check with their doctor about getting a Hep A vaccine. More than 2,000 cases of hepatitis A have been reported in Indiana since 2017.
At 5:12, General Electric says it's freezing the pension plans of about 20,000 U.S. employees starting in January 2021. That includes workers at several plants right here in Indiana. Retirees who are already collecting pensions and employees with production benefits will not be affected. GE's pension plan has been closed to new hires since 2012. The company says it'll offer a lump sum payment option to 100,000 former employees who haven't started their monthly pension plan payments yet. It'll also pre-fund nearly $5 billion of its pension obligations for 2021 and 2022.
A federal judge is ordering President Trump to turn over his tax returns to Manhattan's district attorney, but the order has already been temporarily stayed by a U.S. Court of Appeals. The president has been trying to block a subpoena issued by the DA to release 8 years of his tax returns. The DA is investigating if any New York state laws were broken when hush money payments were made to 2 women who said they had affairs with Trump more than a decade ago. Trump has denied the allegations.
Here at 5:13, a woman from London says she was sexually harassed on a flight through the plane's in-flight messaging system. Jessica Van Meer posted these pictures of the messages she received during her flight on Virgin Atlantic from London to D.C. It appears a group of passengers targeted her. She reported the messages to the flight crew, who spoke with the men who sent the messages. The harassment stopped after that. Virgin Atlantic says it is investigating this incident. The airline says seat-to-seat messaging is being phased out. A new sample of the West Nile virus has been found in the Hoosier State.
The state health department says mosquitoes in Vigo County tested positive for the virus. Officials say to protect yourself from the virus, avoid being outdoors when mosquitoes are active. Also wear insect repellent with DEET, and when possible, wear long sleeves and pants, especially if you're walking in wooded or marshy areas. Most people who get West Nile virus will not have any symptoms. You can prevent potential mosquito breeding grounds by discarding old tires and containers holding water, repair failed septic systems, and drilling holes in recycling containers left outside. No human cases of West Nile virus have been reported in Indiana. At 5:14, we're going to take a look at the weather with Alyssa Donovan.
And we are starting in the low 50s right now, but we're actually seeing those temperatures drop off yet this morning. And by 8 a.m., 48 degrees here in Indianapolis. By 9 a.m., still might be dropping into 47 degrees. So a much cooler start today. This is the coolest start that we've seen of the season, and that is due to what you're seeing on your screen right now. We don't have a cloud in the sky this morning, and we didn't have a cloud overnight. That's because of this ridge of high pressure in place. That's continuing to amplify, and it's also going to continue helping us warm up today and bring us plenty of sunshine. That daytime heating will allow us to warm quickly. By the noon hour, we'll be right around 67 degrees, so we are climbing just about 20 degrees in 4 hours there, you can see on your screen. And then by 4 p.m., 72 degrees for the high. Plenty of sunshine today, and that high pressure is sticking with us until Thursday. Now, by Thursday night and Friday, this is the change that we have happening. We have this low pressure system just off to our west. That's causing some issues to Montana and areas west right now early this week. And then that is going to approach Indianapolis as we head into Friday morning and much of the day on Friday, overnight, and then into Saturday morning. But look at this. Looks like it will clear out by Saturday afternoon. We are expecting this to be a pretty potent system, which means we have the potential of some heavy rainfall as well as the possibility of some strong storms as that moves through. Of course, we'll keep an eye on that for you. Good time to get that Storm Shield app so that you're aware of what's happening as that system comes across the area. And behind that, much cooler air moves in. We have the coolest air mass of the season. So we are going to see those temperatures warm just a little bit this week until Thursday and Friday, when we'll be into the upper 70s. That's because of that high pressure that's in place. That's helping us warm up very quickly during the day. And then we will drop off very quickly by Saturday, 58 degrees for the high. And then we're just going to climb a little bit on Sunday and Monday. So here's a look at our 7-day forecast. 72 today. Again, starting cool this morning. You're definitely going to want a sweater or a jacket. 75 on Wednesday. We start that warming trend, staying warm Thursday and Friday into the upper 70s. Those overnight lows starting to warm up as well before we drop off quickly with that passing cold front that comes through on Friday. That will bring us the potential of showers and thunderstorms. Saturday, 58 degrees for the high. Those overnight lows on Sunday will wake up in the low 40s with those temperatures back in the 60s by Sunday and Monday.
Alyssa, thanks so much. We're keeping a close eye on traffic this morning. Here's a live look over on the southeast side of town, I-465 at Arlington Avenue. You can see traffic in this area is pretty quiet, traveling up to speed early this morning. So let's take a look here at some road work we're monitoring. On the northwest side, you're traveling northbound here on I-65 past 38th Street. 2 lanes are under construction this morning, so just take it slow as you head through that area. Another spot we have some extensive construction is on I-69. This is near State Road 109. Let's take a live look from our INDOT traffic camera in that area. You can see all of the orange barrels, but thankfully traffic here is still moving along up to speed. No delays to slow you down. Just pay attention to where you need to be driving, as there is some lane shifting through that area.
Does your driver's license have a gold star on it? If it doesn't, your time is running out to get one. Working for you, John Matteries explains why it's so important.
Planning on flying next year? Well, now might be a good time to double check your driver's license, because if you don't have a new TSA approved one, you might not be flying anywhere. In less than 1 year, on October 1st, 2020, domestic air travelers will be required to have a real ID driver's license, an enhanced license that means you've passed a federal background check. Congress passed a law requiring these after 9/11. But the U.S. Travelers Association says fewer than half of all Americans do not yet have one, meaning you will not be allowed on an airplane 12 months from now. Real ID compliant licenses have a star up at the top. Now, to get one, you need to bring a birth certificate, marriage license, and proof of residence when applying. You cannot simply renew your old driver's license. A valid U.S. passport or a military ID will also be accepted, but the Travel Association says millions of Americans don't have those either. So get that new license before the big crowds arrive at motor vehicle offices next summer, so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
John, thank you so much. It is 5:18. Indiana's health commissioner is urging you to get your flu shots soon, because flu cases are already popping up around our state. Since the 2014-2015 flu season, nearly 800 people here in Indiana have died from flu-related illnesses. Vulnerable populations include the elderly, pregnant women, young children, and people with chronic illnesses or compromised immune systems. The CDC recommends you get your flu vaccination by late October. It takes about 2 weeks for it to take effect.
A new study says up to a quarter of all U.S. healthcare spending is wasteful. Researchers say that's up to $930 billion in unnecessary spending. The study says the biggest waste is from administrative issues. Other factors include overtreatment, unnecessary hospital visits, and lack of preventative care. The U.S. spends more on healthcare per capita than any other developed nation. The Indy Fuel will welcome fans to the Coliseum later this month, but before they do, we're getting a sneak peek at the team's new look.
And here's a live look at I-70 and Post Road over on the east side. Traffic in this area, off in the distance there, you can see it's traveling up to speed. Stick around. We'll be right back after this short break.
At White Castle.
It is 5:23 on your Tuesday, and we're monitoring our roads this morning. This is a live look at I-70 near the airport ramps to the west. You can see lots of headlights out that way. Traffic's moving along just fine on the interstates if you're heading out to catch an early morning flight. Okay, so it's a sure sign of winter. Hockey season is getting started all around the country.
This weekend, the Fuel opened their 6th season on the road, and changes in the air. Brad Brown takes a closer look at the new look Fuel.
The ice at Indiana Farmers Coliseum is fresh, just like many of the players on this year's Indy Fuel roster. There's a new head coach as well. Doug Christensen comes to Indy after a stint at the ECHL team in Manchester, New Hampshire.
The way the game's played now is with pace, getting on top of teams, taking advantage in transition. And from a fan point of view, you're going to see a team that's hungry for pucks, wanting to create offense off of the rush, and hopefully being overwhelming that way.
Indy's roster includes 5 players that were with Christensen in New Hampshire. A little familiarity is making this early transition a little smoother.
Usually the fellas are pretty similar. If you don't know them, you have a connection, and it's pretty easy to make those connections, and we're lucky. Doug assembled a good group of guys, and we hit it off right off the bat.
Only a fourth of the Fuel roster were here at the end of last season. 25-year-old Matt Thompson returns to Indy. 21 goals here last season, part of what's expected to be a fast-paced Fuel offense.
On the ice, extremely fast, extremely skilled team. Doug's been preaching to play a very high-paced, quick-tempo game, and I think it benefits a lot of players on our team.
No one on this team is more than 28 years old. There are half a dozen rookies, their first taste of pro hockey. Jack Jenkins played 4 years at Notre Dame.
I like our compete. I like our speed. Obviously, preseason hockey is going to be a little sluggish at times, but I think we competed hard both games, and I think there's a lot of promise to our team.
I often equate it to your seafood restaurant. You're only going to cook what comes off the boat that day. Well, you got to adjust every day. So some days it's clam, some days it's salmon. You have no idea, and that's sometimes the way it is.
We'll see what flavor the Fuels serve up as the long grind of the season gets started. At the Coliseum, Brad Brown, RTV6 Sports.
Brad, thank you. The Purdue football team will have a different look for their homecoming game this Saturday against Maryland. On Monday, Purdue unveiled moon-themed uniforms. If you look closely, you can see moon-like craters on the P logo on the helmet. Those helmets are also white with a gold face mask. The uniforms honor the 50th anniversary of the first moon landing and Purdue alum Neil Armstrong's role in that mission. The team will also have a patch featuring Purdue as the cradle of astronauts. Purdue's homecoming game against Maryland kicks off at noon Saturday at Ross-Ade Stadium in Lafayette.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
Those. Yes.
Play off your strengths, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Love that.
Exactly. All right, Alyssa, what do we have in the forecast for today?
We have a beautiful day today. People are going to want to get outside. Maybe not to start, though. It's going to feel very different this morning. Temperatures in the 40s this morning. Some areas even starting in the 30s. Crawfordsville been at 38 this morning, so very cool start today. 72, though, for the high. We are going to warm very quickly because we have clear skies that will allow for that daytime heating. Plenty of sunshine throughout your Tuesday and your Wednesday into most of Thursday, which is when we'll climb into the upper 70s. By Friday, we have the potential of showers and storms moving into the area. And then Saturday, much cooler forecast. 58 degrees for the high, staying in the 60s Sunday and Monday.
Alyssa, thank you. A Central Indiana woman is free this morning after spending time in jail for a crime she didn't commit. Ahead this morning, why she's concerned it's going to happen to other people.
Today at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
A woman and 2 police officers hurt after an apartment building burst into flames overnight east of Indianapolis. What officials are saying right now about where that fire started.
And residents in Carmel are voicing their concerns over these new 5G cell towers, why they're afraid the technology is a health risk. But first, here at 5:30, we have to talk about the weather this morning.
Yeah, and as you step out the door, you're going to feel that brisk fall air, something we haven't felt a whole lot this year so far. Alyssa, what can we expect out there this morning?
So we're still seeing those temperatures drop off as we head through the morning. We were actually in the low 50s just about an hour ago. We're at 49 now in Indianapolis, and I want to show you there's some cooler spots on our map this morning. Crawfordsville at 38 right now, Peru at 43, Tipton at 44. So a chilly start today, and that's because of that cool, dry air that's in place. You can see we don't have any cloud coverage this morning, and we didn't have any overnight, which is why we do have those very cool temperatures to start. The good news is it's also going to allow us to warm quickly throughout the day. So we're going to see plenty of sunshine, which will allow those temperatures to climb very quickly. That's just because of this high pressure that's in place. That's going to continue to affect us today, tomorrow, and most of Thursday before we see some changes by Friday afternoon. So today, starting cool this morning, and then we are warming up very quickly. We'll be into the low to mid 70s by the noon hour. Sunny skies this afternoon, 72 degrees for our high.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. We're keeping a close eye on traffic as you head out the door on this Tuesday. Here's a live look on the east side, I-465 and I-70. No problems here to slow you down, so that is great news. Let's taking a look right now at our Traffic Now map. We are still monitoring some road work on the northwest side scheduled here on the northbound lanes of I-65 north of 38th Street. Use caution in that area. And you see that little bit of a slowdown. Well, we do have a little bit of road work happening on westbound I-465 here as you approach Meridian Street. Let's take a live look right now at I-69 at State Road 109. Lots of orange barrels out there, and you can see this is an ongoing construction project, but thankfully everything is still traveling up to speed. No delays here to slow you down.
We are following breaking news this morning. 3 people are in the hospital after flames broke out in an apartment complex east of Indianapolis.
We can tell you a woman and 2 police officers were injured in that fire, and our own Kelsey Anderson is live this morning from the hospital with more breaking details. Kelsey.
Yeah, so they were transported here to Eskenazi, 1 woman and 2 police officers from Cumberland Manor over on the east side of Indianapolis. So what we know right now is, let's go ahead and take a look at video from the scene today. So what we know today is a woman and 2 police officers were transported here to the hospital, and according to officials on the scene, an IMPD officer kicked the door of the apartment in and carried a 7-year-old to safety. He's right now being hailed a hero. Everyone inside the apartment did make it out. 9 people are displaced from their homes, and we're still working to find out what started this fire, but fire officials on scene say given the time of day and the type of fire, this could have turned out a lot worse. For now, we'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Kelsey, thank you for that update. 4 nights in jail for a crime that she didn't commit. That's what family members say happened to a local woman after her identity was stolen.
RTV6's Megan Santorum is working for you and asking the Greenfield police chief how this could have happened.
It's been a long couple of days for this Speedway woman who is now out of jail. Kristen Parr was arrested at her home on Thursday night, accused of auto theft. Police say the person on the right used Parr's ID to test drive a car from a Greenfield car lot, but never returned it. That's when a warrant was issued for Parr's arrest.
I mean, I think there's a lot of anger, right? I mean, it's just not right. It's one of those things that's hard to describe.
Family reached out to RTV6 asking for help. They say Parr had her purse stolen months ago, and this isn't the first time someone has used her ID.
You're angry, you're trying to explain your side of the story, you're trying to say, hey, this isn't right, this isn't me, and it's falling on deaf ears.
Greenfield police say a county festival that closed all offices on Friday led to the delay in investigating this case.
Do you know, did your officers look into it that night?
No, he did not, but he did submit a report in, and then because it was Riley Festival, the report didn't go anywhere.
That's the same reason she wasn't able to see a judge until Monday morning.
Had there been court on Friday, there's no doubt in my mind she would have been released on Friday.
Once detectives were able to verify that her identity had been stolen, they worked with the prosecutor to dismiss the charges. The chief says he hopes to meet with Parr soon.
Unfortunately, even though we did everything right at that time, it still doesn't make her stay in the Hancock County Jail any more okay.
It's just sad that somebody can continue to get away with this, and that it feels like there's not a whole lot of focus put on it. However, she does time in jail for something someone else did.
That was Megan Santorum reporting. The police chief told RTV6 he feels bad this happened, but he stands by the actions of his officers. Police are still looking to identify the woman who has been using Parr's ID.
At 5:35, a 4th person has died after a plane took off from central Indiana and crashed in Michigan. 1 person is in critical condition, and the condition of the 2nd survivor is unknown at this time. The plane went down while approaching the runway at Capital Region International Airport in Lansing on Thursday on a flight from Indianapolis South Greenwood Airport.
Carmel City Council members are reviewing information about these small cell towers after several people spoke out against installing them in their community. Residents fear that the towers are a potential health risk and want the council to stop more from going up. Call 6 Investigates told you last week companies like Verizon and AT&T don't have to notify anyone when and where they put them up. Gail Thomas tells RTV6 she and many others want more research done on how 5G technology could impact their health.
We just need more information before we can really just relax and feel safe that this is guaranteed, you know, that we can know that it's safe.
CTIA, which represents the U.S. wireless communications industry, says the current scientific evidence available shows there's no health risk with these small cell towers. The Carmel City Council did not take any action at last night's meeting, but they say they plan to look into residents' 5G concerns and give the community some answers once they are up to speed.
At 5:36, one of the candidates running for Congress in 2020 is suspending his campaign. Republican Steve Braun, the brother of Senator Mike Braun, announcing yesterday that he's suspending his campaign for health reasons. He did not specify the exact health issue. Braun is one of several people who want to replace Republican Susan Brooks in the 5th District, which covers Grant, Madison, Tipton, and Hamilton counties, and parts of other counties. Meanwhile, another person is now joining that race, former BMV Commissioner Kent Abernathy. He announced that he'll join the race for Indiana's 5th Congressional District. Before becoming BMV Commissioner, Abernathy worked in commercial banking in New York. Abernathy is a retired Army colonel and a member of the Republican Party.
The Marion County Health Department is offering low-cost flu vaccines at special walk-in clinics this month. 2 will be held today. One goes from 9 to 11 this morning at Old Bethel Church on East 21st Street. The second goes from 9 to noon at Southport Presbyterian Church on McFarland Boulevard. The shots cost $20 for adults and children ages 2 to 18. The vaccine is free for children under 2 years old.
Attention nurses and new RN graduates. Eskenazi Health is holding a nurse networking career event tomorrow where you can learn all about opportunities available within Eskenazi Health. There are 2 sessions, one at 3 and one at 4:30, and you only need to attend 1 session. The event will be held in the Rapp Family Conference Center located on the 1st floor of Eskenazi Health Outpatient Care Center. RSVPs are encouraged, but they're not required. For more information, check out the Career Resources tab at hiringhoosiers.com. Also this morning, 2 major retailers are ramping up their hiring ahead of the holiday season.
Here's the first. Best Buy will be hosting hiring fairs on Thursday and Friday of this week, and you may walk out with a job offer. These fairs will take place at all Best Buy stores and run from noon to 7 both days.
Dick's Sporting Goods also has job openings. The company plans to hire approximately 145 seasonal employees right here in Indianapolis as part of National Signing Day on October 16th. Just visit a Dick's location on that day to be interviewed and meet the team. There are 8 stores in the Indianapolis area. Time right now is 5:38 on your Tuesday. Let's check in with Alyssa.
And it's a cool start to our Tuesday, the coolest start of fall so far. 49 degrees right now in Indianapolis, 42 in Kokomo, and 41 in Bloomington. We're continuing to drop off yet this morning, and that's because of that sky coverage. We don't have any clouds in it, and we have seen those light winds overnight, which has allowed for that radiational cooling. That is all because of that ridge of high pressure in place that came in yesterday afternoon, helped dry out some of that humidity, and now it's going to continue to cool us off in our mornings and warm us up throughout the day. Today, we will climb into the low 70s, and we're going to continue to warm a little bit each day until we're close to 80 degrees by Thursday. But this one, not going to be as warm today for your Tuesday, starting in the 40s this morning. Plenty of sunshine and clear skies, 72 degrees for our high. Now, looking ahead to the weekend, we do have some changes coming, much cooler temperatures, also the potential of some much needed rain, also the potential of some thunderstorms in there. I'll have all those details coming up.
Alyssa, thank you. We do want to get to some breaking news we're following right now. Crews are at the scene of a house fire. This one's on North Harding Street. It happened just before 5 o'clock this morning. We've learned that a 70-year-old grandmother and a 5-year-old child were able to make it out of the home safely. So far, there's no word on what may have started the flames. Of course, we'll continue to check in with crews there at the scene and keep you updated. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are criticizing President Trump's decision to end U.S. military involvement in Syria. Coming up, why they say the move would betray U.S. allies in the fight against ISIS.
And with reports of more lung injuries cases linked to e-cigarettes, Kroger is making a big change after the break. What lawmakers are also doing to stop the outbreak.
And here's a live look in the downtown area. I-65 and I-70 at the South Split, where traffic is picking up this morning. Still traveling just fine through that area. We'll continue to keep you updated on any crashes, delays, or construction that could impact your drive to work or school this morning. It's 5:40. Stick around. We'll be right back after this break.
About to fix it.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Time right now is 5:44, and here's a live look at I-69 and 82nd Street, Castleton. You can see traffic in this area is moving along just fine. Picking up this morning, lots of headlights up that way. We'll continue to monitor any crashes or delays and keep you updated as you head out the door.
Here's a look at stories making national headlines today. Supreme Court justices will hear arguments in a case over LGBT civil rights. This issue is whether Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, which bars employers from discrimination based on sex, applies to gay and transgender people. Actress and transgender activist Laverne Cox will also be in attendance. The impeachment inquiry into President Trump intensifies today as U.S. Ambassador Gordon Sondland is scheduled to testify. He's one of 3 diplomats included in a text chain discussing President Trump's phone call with the president of Ukraine. The message allegedly show officials discussing whether Trump was withholding military aid to pressure Ukraine into investigating fighting former Vice President and political rival Joe Biden. President Trump says there was no quid pro quo.
Here at 5:45, President Trump's latest move to end U.S. involvement in Syria drew some backlash from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. They say betraying America's Kurdish allies and walking away from the fight against Islamic State would cause irreparable damage to U.S. interests. President Trump argues that he is making good on a campaign promise.
Turkey, Syria, let them take care of it. Let them take care of it. We want to bring our troops back home.
The Kurds have been America's strongest ally in the fight against ISIS. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell saying, quote, it would increase the risk that ISIS and other terrorist groups could regroup. President Trump insists that if Turkey does anything, that he will, quote, destroy and obliterate the economy of Turkey, end quote.
The U.S. is blocking shipments from 28 more Chinese companies and organizations over alleged human rights abuse. That includes a company that makes baby pajamas sold at Costco. Manufacturers are accused of locking ethnic minorities in internment camps and forcing them to work against their will. White House officials say they will not tolerate this. Some clothing companies, as well as one that makes rubber gloves sold at hospitals, are part of the U.S. blacklist.
It is 5:46. Pilots with Southwest Airlines are suing Boeing for lost pay due to the grounding of the 737 MAX planes. The pilots filed a complaint on Monday saying that the grounding resulted in more than $100 million of lost compensation. They also claim that Boeing misled pilots about the aircraft's safety. The 737 MAX planes have been grounded since March after 2 deadly crashes. A Boeing spokesperson released a statement saying that the company plans to fight the lawsuit, calling it meritless.
The entrance to Yosemite National Park is closed as a brush fire continues to spread in central California. The Bryceburg fire started Sunday afternoon and within a day covered 500 acres. Authorities have issued evacuation orders for some homes and campsites. More than 900 firefighters and multiple aircraft are working to get the fire under control. Crews hope to make progress today before the strong winds that are predicted Wednesday. Here at home, though, a quiet scene and a cold start to our morning, Alyssa.
That's right. We are seeing the coolest start to our fall that we've seen so far this season. Those temperatures in some areas in the upper 30s. Here in Indianapolis, we are in the low 50s right now, but we're continuing to drop off. Likely we'll be into the mid 40s by the next couple hours here. High pressure is in control. That's keeping us cool to start today, and then it's also keeping us dry for much of the forecast before we see the potential of showers and storms moving in from a low pressure system that's just off to our west right now. Temperatures today, well, we've already dropped off. 49 degrees in Indianapolis, 49 in Martinsville, 39 right now in Kokomo, 41 in Bloomington, and 43 in Muncie. So yesterday we started in the mid 50s with a little bit more humidity. Today we're starting dry and chilly. You'll feel that as you step outside, and you can see we have clear skies, no clouds to insulate us from that cool, dry air mass that has settled into place over central Indiana and the Midwest. That is high pressure. That's going to continue to amplify today and into tomorrow and much of Thursday. That means we're going to see a little bit of a warming trend. Each day, those temperatures climbing because of that daytime heating. We're going to see plenty of sunshine, allowing those temperatures to climb very quickly throughout the day. Next, we have this low pressure system. Right now, that's just over to our west. That is impacting some areas there, and then that is going to continue to move towards the Midwest as we head through the week. By Friday, that's when we'll start to see the impacts from that. That's going to be very potent by that time. Potential for bringing us some heavy rainfall as well as a few thunderstorms with that system. The best chances are going to be late Friday and into early Saturday morning, likely before you even wake up. But that's when we are going to see the potential of that showers and storms moving through. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Here we are at 8 p.m. on Friday. There's that system, and you can see that's bringing some rain, or snow rather, to some of our further north counties, right around Minneapolis, further north cities, I should say. And then by Saturday morning, that is quickly moving out, bringing that rain along with it. That will move to the northeast, just bringing us the potential of some much needed rain. Looking at those high temperatures this week, we are going to see a warming trend before we drop off steeply by Saturday. Today we are in those 70s, really close to average, and then we're going to climb a little bit by Thursday and Friday before we drop into the 50s on Saturday. That's going to be our coolest day of the forecast so far. Today, starting in the 40s, then we'll climb into the low 70s this afternoon with plenty of sunshine through throughout your day. Staying clear on Wednesday as well before we see a little bit more cloud coverage by Thursday. Those storms move in for Friday. 58 degrees for Saturday, then we're back in the 60s on Sunday.
All right, Alyssa, we're planning out your drive right now, heading in from the east side on I-70 westbound. Your drive time right now, 10 minutes. No delays here from Post Road to I-65 at the north split. Taking a turn across town on I-74 traveling eastbound from State Road 267, heading through Brownsburg, the I-465 ramps. It's a 7-minute drive, so everything there is traveling up to speed. Let's take a look a little south of this area. This is on I-70, a little east of the airport ramps. You can see lots of headlights out that way, but traffic is traveling up to speed. So if you're heading out to catch an early morning flight, you shouldn't have any issues on the roads.
After more than 22 deaths connected to vaping, Kroger has announced it will no longer sell e-cigarettes. The grocery retailer said it will sell off its remaining stock and then halt e-cigarette sales. Officials have not identified a definitive cause or connection between the more than 1,000 lung injury cases connected to the products. CBS, Viacom, and Warner Media have also announced they will no longer run e-cigarette ads. A new bill is also aiming to make a change to the e-cigarette industry by creating a cap on nicotine levels. An Illinois congressman introduced the legislation on Monday. The bill would restrict nicotine content to no more than 20 milligrams per milliliter to make them less addictive. Right now, there is not a national cap on nicotine that exists. Experts say high nicotine concentrations have played a role in what they described as an epidemic of vaping among youth.
A World War II vet will get a special surprise for his 102nd birthday. Still ahead, how people from all across the world pitched in to make his day special. Time right now, 5:51. Stick around. We'll be right back.
More fun.
Welcome back. It is 5:54 here on your Tuesday morning, and we're monitoring traffic on the north side, I-65 at 30th Street. Just a heads up as you're traveling northbound through this area, we do have the left lane blocked for you for some road work, as you can see by the barrels there on your screen. We'll continue to monitor any delays and keep you updated this morning.
A 17-year-old is inventing technology for a sustainable future. The Virginia teen has created wireless noise-canceling earbuds made from recycled plastic. She's calling them e-pearls and says they'll be sold for just $25. Elga Cheatham from Virginia says she started working on the project 2 years ago. She says she wanted to create something that brings awareness and promotes the environment. $2 from each e-pearl purchased is also donated to Conservation International. She won $1,000 for her project at a regional competition and is now heading to nationals where she could win $17,000.
A World War II vet in New Jersey is getting a special gift for his 102nd birthday this week. Staffers at George Campbell's retirement home sent out a request on Facebook. You can sit here for 102 cards to celebrate him. Well, that actually ended up with much more than that, 2,000 cards to be exact. They've been pouring in from 40 states, Germany, and Ireland. George will officially turn 102 on Thursday. An early happy birthday to George.
Yes, yes. Hopefully we have some good weather for him to celebrate in, Alyssa.
You know what? Thursday it's going to be nice. We're going to be into the upper 70s. We're in the low 70s for our daytime highs today. Starting a little cool this morning. My temperature just switched on me. We were in the 40s. We're climbing a little bit into the 50s. Some areas still likely dropping off this morning into those upper 40s. Some areas are even in the 30s this morning. So this is a cool start today, and we are going to climb very quickly, though, and that's because we have clear and sunny skies by the noon hour, 67 degrees, and then we will be into the low 70s this afternoon. So this is the start of a little warming trend. Usually our highs are in the upper 60s this time of year, so we are just a smidge above average today. By Wednesday, a little bit warmer, and then Thursday, just a little bit warmer, close to those 80-degree temperatures once again, but that's as warm as we are going to get because on the other side of this, we are dropping off quite a bit. We also have the potential of showers and storms. I'll have more on that coming up on Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back.